So, this is a fairy tale, a marketing fairy tale that we used to, when I was at P&G, my team and I, Rahul Chakara and myself, were telling to our audience where we were making conferences. And the fairy tale is called The Fairy Tale of King Lhog and King Deeghee. So King Lhog was the king of a country in a very ancient Middle East country. You know, a bazaar. He was running a big bazaar. But the way he organized his bazaar was very strange. He would have a balcony in which the merchants would be above the crowd of potential customers listening to them, and they would be in the balcony and shout, tell about how great are their products. And one after the other, they would shout and say, okay, my product is good for that, buy me, buy me, buy me. The potential customers, they could not respond. And even more, because there were so many customers, some couldn't even hear what the merchants could say. The most successful merchant in this bazaar was a merchant called Proctor. This merchant, he was quite smart in selling why they should buy his products, but also he had the loudest voice of all the merchants. And so the potential customers, even very far away in the last lines of the market, they could hear, and so they would buy his products. Then King Lhog died. And his son, his name is Deeghee, his son said, that doesn't make any sense. This bazaar organization doesn't make any sense. I'm going to reshape that. So he destroyed the balcony and he said to the merchants, now you are going to be installed in small shops on one level, and the customers will be able to go and walk between the shops, and when they are interested they can stop by and discuss with you, and you can sell whatever you want. So he did that. The problem was that for the old merchants, like the ones who were really used to shout, they had a problem, and this problem was because for so many years they had shouted and shouted and shouted with their own voices, and hearing the voices of their friends shouting next to them, they had become deaf, and they were not able to actually have a conversation. And there is a new kind of merchant, these young ones, who came and who said, well, you know, it's not about shouting, it's about discussing. And so some of the smartest, they had the discussions and they were able to sell. So the story doesn't tell if some of the merchants that used to be shouting have managed to get things on their ears to be able to listen, but they understood the moral of the story is that at some point you need to drastically change the way you interact with the people when there is a market change. And the market change in this fairy tale is that digital is bringing mass interaction to communication. So we move from mass one-way communication to mass interaction, and this has to change dramatically the way that advertisers and brands are interacting with their customers.
Thank you, Fred.